What is up, guys? This is that nearly 70% of you are not subscribed. So if you're enjoying the content or want to see more of this, make sure that you subscribe down below. It will truly mean the world. Please, please, please subscribe. What is up, guys? This is David from Bronx Banter coming at you with another special episode. This is episode 75 of Bronx Banter, and the Yankees have an AL MVP on their hands. And no, I'm not talking about Juan Soto. No, I'm not talking about Aaron Judge, which have been seen to be favorites for the AL MVP, not just within Yankees fans, but just in all of just MLB in general. They seem to be favorites. Mike Trout is up there as well. He's crushing the ball. But the guy I'm going to be talking about today that I truly, and I'm not trying to say this as a hot take. I'm not trying to say this to go viral or anything, but I truly mean it with my whole heart, is I believe Anthony Volpe has the potential to win an MVP this year. And obviously, I know maybe a lot of your guys are going to be thinking it's too quick to assume, too quick to think. It's very hard to expect Anthony Volpe to keep the pace that he has going on right now with all the numbers that he's putting up. But, man, does it look like he has no signs of slowing down. And not only that, but the essence of his production right now is in part of the adjustments that he's made. This isn't just a hot or cold streak. In fact, we've seen Volpe have an extremely hot couple of games and have a pretty, what would seem to be a standard couple of games. The way that Anthony Volpe affects the game of baseball day in and day out is beyond just hitting home runs, beyond just getting on base, beyond just stealing baseballs or making defensive plays as he was the Gold Glove American League shortstop last year. But he impacts the baseball and baseball in general in so many ways, the game in so many ways. And if you won't understand unless you watch him play. It's not quick and easy to assume that the rookie last year that came in 8th in Rookie of the Year voting and had a batting average down to almost the Mendoza line, you would think that how would he ever bounce back and come close to having not just an all-star level season, which I think he absolutely is going to be, but MVP level season. Now, let me break down a few numbers. And again, I know this is very early in the season, but this, in compared to his last year numbers are night and day. He leads the AL in WAR, tied with Bobby Witt, but on Baseball Reference, he's the very top one, but leads or ties the AL in WAR with 1.2. Last year, I could be mistaken, but he was in around the 2s in terms of WAR. He's already at 1.2. It looks like he's more than halfway there. I could have my numbers wrong, but he's more than halfway there to surpass a whole season's worth of value that he brought last year. He's at 1.2 WAR, and we know that's only going to go up just from his defense alone, but he clearly is showing offensive progression as he's also first in the league, in the American League, in batting average. And I could be wrong, but I think I'm stretching here, but I think it could be all of baseball, but I don't think so. I think it's just the American League in batting average at .417, and is second in the AL in on-base percentage and OPS, and second in the AL in hits as well. Now, one thing that he's not super stellar at is walking, but that's because he gets the ball in play so many times, and he finds holes, and he just knows where to hit the ball. He's not walking as much as you look at his averages at .417. His on-base percentage is still in the 400s, so that means he's not walking a whole lot. But again, doesn't matter if you're walking a whole lot if you have a batting average as high as .417. So we all know what he could do defensively, and he's still playing like that Gold Glove American League shortstop that we remembered last year, if not even better. Yesterday's game alone, as of recording today's game, in the first game of the series against the Miami Marlins, he made 2 stellar plays. He caught one line drive and slid and dove away from first base to get a ground ball that was caught in the hole and made a stellar throw to first base. Anthony Volpe makes these plays look fairly easy, and that's why they're not always making highlights or not in the hot spot of plays. Or, again, he was a Gold Glove winner last year, so they're not super quick to mention. But, again, the way that he impacts the game of baseball in all facets of the game. He hustles and dives for every play. That is no doubt. Even balls that are bloopers falling into left field where Verdugo should be making that play. Volpe's hustling out there ready to make the play. Sometimes he's making it. Sometimes Verdugo calls him off, but he is there, hustling ready to make every play. One, there's probably more than one, but one big attribute I want to highlight in this video that Volpe has that I see in Juan Soto and what makes Juan Soto so great is, and again, I'm not comparing them in terms of productivity or skill. I'm not going to say Anthony Volpe is going to be the next Juan Soto. I am not saying that, but I'm saying the attribute of how he carries himself in the game is similar to Juan Soto. Is they both do not take a single pitch off. They don't go into La La Land mentally, or they don't just take a pitch down the middle just because they're not paying attention in the game of baseball. They are taking every pitch like it's the last pitch, like it's Game 7 of the World Series. You see how passionate Anthony Volpe gets when there's a bad call on him. You see the same thing in Juan Soto. You see the way that, again, like I mentioned just before, the way that Anthony Volpe is willing to dive and run and hustle after every play, even if it's not directly hit towards him. He has that hustle. He has that heart the same way that Soto does, and obviously much better defensively than Soto. But he's also the way, again, going back to the way that he affects the game in multiple ways. I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but just Volpe is exciting to talk about. Not only in the way that he plays defensively, how prone he is to stealing a base at any moment in time, at any pitch, anytime he's on base. The way that he hustles out the box, even though we know he's fast, he could easily jog and then hustle to second. But every hit I ever see him hit, hustling out the box, just to try to get that extra base hit. Again, he's ready to swing after every pitch. And that's why he's a player right now at a 1.2 WAR. And even the way he swings, his stance is slightly different. His approach, he completely has admitted, is slightly different. They say that, and you probably heard this plenty of times if you're keeping up in Yankees news, but he's leveled out his swing, a lot less of an uppercut. You can see that in the way that he's hitting line drives. He's hitting hard hit ground balls in the hole. And even not just that, but the way that he takes pitches, the way that he works and builds the count, which is something that he also said he's been wanting to work on, and he clearly has been. And another thing is his approach into the actual swing, not just in leveling the swing, but you can level your swing all you want, but if you're swinging for the fences every pitch, you're not going to have as high of a contact rate as you would as Anthony Volpe is having with his adjusted approach into strikes and just knowing the situation of the game. Volpe, I've seen several times, even in just his last game with the Marlins, he just wanted to get a ball in play and find a hole. He did kind of a little half swing, make contact type of swing. He wasn't trying to swing for the fences, which when he was first called up and he was a rookie, I remember this distinctively. Against Felix Bautista, it was, I believe, 2 outs, 2 strikes, no balls, down in the count because he was just swinging at both balls. And Felix Bautista throws a fastball up in the zone. And instead of Volpe either taking the pitch or having a foul off approach, just trying to fight and make contact, Volpe swings as hard as he can on two strikes, no balls, nobody on base, 2 outs in the 9th inning to help us lose the game. Now, I'm not saying that specific at bat was the deciding factor of the game, but the Anthony Volpe we know today in 2024 would not have that same approach. Probably would not have swung at the ball, but would not have that same approach. And naturally, when you have more experience in the majors, you're going to do better. And last year, towards the later half of the season, he was doing better in an average standpoint. He was. So you see that progression even as of starting last year. So this is only the beginning. And though he's having some of the best numbers in all of the American League and some of the better numbers in all of baseball, this is not even the ceiling for him. He's special. And some conversations have been going around, who's the shortstop of New York? Is it Lindor or is it Volpe? Obviously, as of right now, it's absolutely Volpe. I love Lindor. He's Puerto Rican. I got to be biased towards that. But of course, I'm even more biased to being a Yankee fan and it being Volpe. But Lindor does not look like he's been doing too good. I do think he's going to turn around. But either way, Volpe is not just the shortstop of New York, but right now, at this moment, he's the shortstop. He's the player of the American League. And I truly, truly believe that he does have the potential absolutely to win not just an MVP in general in his career, but I'm saying this year, I really think he can. Now, again, it's super early. Pitchers are going to make adjustments. He's going to respond to those adjustments and make adjustments, hopefully, as well. But, man, does he have no signs of stopping anytime soon. I could see the realm of reality where Soto could win the AL MVP or Volpe. And then the first, second, and third place winners of the American League MVP could easily be, in no order, Volpe, Soto, Judge. Trout may ruin it. If Trout is healthy, he could easily win the MVP if he's healthy. And you got guys like O'Neill, which has shown potentials of being a MVP years back with the Cardinals. Seems like he's turning it around and needed that new team in Boston. But either way, despite both of those starts to Mike Trout and O'Neill, what a year would it be to see top 3 finishes from all Yankee players in MVP? And if them 3 can do that, that's going to be one special of a run in the regular season and in the postseason. This is going to be super, super exciting, super, super special. Let me not talk about the pitching, where I think Marcus Stroman could also win or be top 3 finish in the Cy Young this year. Again, that's a little bit more of a hotter take than this. But I feel like, I know people are talking about how good Volpe is, but I don't think they're talking enough of how high of a ceiling he could have this year. 100% think he's going to win the All-Star game. Unless he goes on some crazy slump, he won't. But if he just rides this path or even comes down to earth a little bit, but just is still what we expect out of him now in 2024, he's going to win an All-Star. I think he could even be – he's definitely going to be a top finish in AL MVP. Let that be a hot take. I'm going to come back to this video. Some of you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but listen, I'm a Yankee fan. I am going to be partially crazy, and I'm going to be so excited to see what Anthony Volpe does this year. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I know I may be reaching, but listen, you just got to watch the games. And if you're not a Yankee fan or you are a Yankee fan, and if you haven't watched enough games to know what I'm talking about, just pay attention to Volpe. Watch one series of a Yankee game fully from first inning to last inning, first pitch to last pitch, and see the way that Anthony Volpe impacts the game. Man, is it stellar, is it amazing. And there's no coincidence that he's already at a 1.2 WAR. It's going to be something special. Hang on for the ride, as I think Anthony Volpe is very likely, very possible to win an MVP this year. And if you liked today's episode, please make sure you subscribe down below. It'll truly mean the world. Check out what YouTube suggests will be a great video for you. And also, The Martian wants you to subscribe. Judge wants you to subscribe, so make sure you do. And until next time, peace and be blessed.